Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrible General Health Systems Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda.
Hey everybody, welcome into Bayou Time Sports. I'm Harry McCulla. It's almost football season again, but before we get to football season, it is football camp season, and we know about 1,200 athletes will be coming through Thibodaux between the Manning Passing Academy and then the real football camp. The working camp is the original offensive and defensive Louisiana Line Camp. It'll be June 17th through June 20th. That'll be a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That'll be on Nicholls State campus, and they expect a lot of big old boys to come in, offensive and defensive linemen. It's been happening for over 30 years, almost 35 years now, give or take a couple of years, as the big guys come in before those fancy boys come in with the with all their quarterback shoes and all that, all that Manning stuff. Coach Don Rodrigue has been at every one of these camps since it started back in 1987. Touched a lot of lives, built a lot of linemen. Coach, welcome. Back to do it again. And
thank you.
It probably feels like 10 years, right?
Yeah, well, and you know, that was a couple of years in the 90s. We always had the last weekend in June, and then take 4th of July weekend, then we'd go to Texas, and we did that for about 10 years. But the Mannings came in, and then we had to go to the third weekend in June, so
they bring a lot of cameras and publicity with them and money, because every one of those guys seems like there's a first-round draft pick every year that comes out of there. So exciting times, and this is a working camp. We talked about the history of it going back to '87. Phil Greco was at Nicholls at the time, and you guys came on campus. But it's so good, and for anybody that knows football, right, you win at the line of scrimmage.
Sure.
And like I say, all those other guys get most of the recognition, but this is how you build teams is in the summer with these guys.
Well, a lot of teams come as a team, like with the offensive and defensive linemen, and they do team building, and their coaches that work the camp gather their young men after practice or before practice, and they give them a few words, and then the older guys bring on the younger guys, and that helps build the rapport. They're in the dorm together, they eat together. It's besides learning the what do you do with your hands, what do you do with your feet, the technique work, the explosion work, and everything. There's some other things that grow on to make a successful, team, and that's one of it. But you get the offensive linemen to believe in together and so on.
And look, offense and defense has now become a hand placement, a technique sport, and everybody's got good coaches, but not everybody has great coaches, right? That on the highest level. A lot of times, we were back there just throwing flippers at people, right? Just trying to get in front of them.
No more flippers.
Right? No, that's what I'm saying.
That's
so
right.
It's a completely different game now. And so if you don't have a high level coach, guys can come to this camp for 4 days and learn from the highest level. We'll talk about some of the guys that are coming in, but technique is such a big part of this game now.
It's the major part with all the passing game and all of the zone blocking and all the pass protections and the different blitzes that everybody's devising to come attack the line of scrimmage. So you've got to be able to have your 3 bends, one in your ankle, one in your knee, one in your waist, and have your eyes and your hands in the right spot.
Right. You got to dance like a big bear too, right?
Yes.
On offensive line anyway. So let's talk about some of the coaches that will come in. In the past, we've had Hall of Famer coaches that have come in. You got guys from the Saints that always come in. They'll always be here too. But some of the newest guys over here, Austin Clark and Kenny Baker, are coming in from the Dolphins.
Yes.
Brandon Daly's coming in from the Chiefs, Super Bowl winner. Carl Dunbar out of Plaisance, out of Opelousas area with the Steelers. He's had a heck of a career after playing at LSU.
Yes.
He's been on a lot of big teams. You got LeBlanc coming in with the Cardinals, Robbie Leonard with the Raiders, Ryan Crow, Pat Hill with the Vikings, Crows with the Titans. So a lot of those guys will be in here, and besides, some of the guys that are
Brendan
regulars,
Daly,
right?
Brendan Daly has 2 Super Bowl rings with the Chiefs and the Patriots.
Right.
You know, and Kevin Mawai has got
Right.
the
He's
gold
Hall of
jacket.
Famer, right.
He works on the offensive side. That's
There
a
he is,
picture
right
of
there.
him. Showing it down, and he's got passion for the game. He's
at Lipscomb now. Right?
He's the head coach at Lipscomb, which is in Nashville. He's bringing 20 kids.
Oh, he is. Good.
He is bringing 20 kids. They did a fundraiser, and they bring in 20 kids.
That was Trent Dilfer's team. Trent
Correct.
ended up
Correct.
taking a job at Birmingham, Alabama, Birmingham.
One of those.
Right.
I lose track of it too.
So he went to take that job, and then so Kevin took that job
Yes.
in Nashville, which is one of the top schools in America. Right?
Yes, and like I said, Kevin Mawai has so much passion for this game of football. Besides him being a Hall of Famer and playing all those years, he was a player rep for the Jets.
Right.
And they don't elect those guys to do that as a team because they're just a tough guy. He's got passion for the game. He's got he's a special with the kids.
Oh, absolutely.
Working with the kids.
And I'm sure he'll be a great coach. I know he's coached in the NFL for a while too. Coach, we were talking. This is camp season, right? So
Correct.
You guys come in, the Mannings come in, but over that time, if you combine all those players, that's a lot of people coming through Thibodeau.
Yes, 1,800 campers in 7 days' time.
Wow, that's incredible. You said about 600 will come in the line.
We're gonna have the last 2 years we've had right over 600.
And they have like 1,200. You have 50 coaches. They have
200.
200. And,
Yeah, and the top 35 quarterbacks in the nation.
Right. So this is a great time to go around Thibodeau and see all those guys. Hey, tell me a little bit about this camp. And again, it's from June 17th through the 20th, $450. You can register online or you can just send a check and go to LouisianaLineCamp.com. Tell me a little bit about the history of this.
Well, it started off with 3 LSU coaches. Jesse Daigle, the running back, Pete Jenkins, the defensive line, Kenny Farrow was tight end and offensive line coach. Jesse's son was a quarterback at Cali High. He had camps to go to. Jesse was an offensive lineman at Southeastern.
Right.
He had no camps to go to. So those 3 guys put their head together, and they went to Southeastern, they went to Northeast, they went to Northwestern, and they came to Nichols, but what sold them on Nichols, the dormitory, the cafeteria, and the practice field was all walking distance. Mm-hmm. And then the 87, they haven't left. They have other places have called them up, going to come. They've put all kind of things, but it stayed here because the people at Nichols do a good job.
Sure.
And promoting it, helping us promoting and doing what they can to help us.
And we were talking, you're going to get 8 practices. So this is not, just coming and singing and doing that. This is a work camp.
It's you're not taking pictures with a head coach. You're not going swimming. Just to give you a quick rundown. Registration is on Saturday morning from 9 to 1:30. At 2 o'clock, we have a team meeting with all of the campers and all the coaches. We eat at 4-ish. We on the field at 6, off at 8. Shower in a meeting at 9. Get out at 10:15. The film session from 9 to 10, or you can't get the better teaching moments with the cut-ups that are given to those high school kids. Next morning, we get them up at 7. Breakfast on the field at 9, off at 11, shower, eat, rest for about a little while. You're back on the field at 1:45, get off at 3:30, shower, eat, back on the field at 6, shower, eat. You're back, get off
So even
at
if
8.
guys wanted to sneak out, they're tired, right? They ain't going anywhere.
You don't have time. And when you taking care of 600, to hydrate all 600 kids at one time, we have a tremendous staff that takes care of that. The Nichols training guys take care of. They hire the high school students. They have graduate assistants and putting water. There is no time at a practice that a kid can't have a drink of water. We get the breaks, towel them down. They get a cup of water or 2. They're back at it, and anytime they
and these are the big kids too, right?
Yes,
So it's something you got to look at. But yeah, you guys do a wonderful job with that.
Yes, I mean, and then it's how much ice and water is used for those short period of time. It's unbelievable. With Ryan Trout from South Durban, his brother Tyler from South Terrebonne. They're the two of the trainers at Nichols. They do a heck of a job.
Yeah.
With that, taking care of the high school students.
I'm looking at all the, like I say, the coaches. You got great coaches. You're working on technique. You're really working. What I like is that a lot of times people will come off the bus as a team, and particularly offensive line. We'll talk about Pete Jenkins, one of the great guys of all time on the defensive side. But for those offensive linemen to work together in an area like this, it seems to be invaluable. You were telling a story of Thibodeau High a couple of years ago.
High, when they won the state championship in '91, the top 8 guys came. All of them benched 300 pounds. And one of the coaches, when they would do drill work together, combo block, double team, he said they talked the whole time. He says, I would just sit and watch them because I'd say the drill, they did it. And they attacked the pads, step where they were going, do everything. He says,
but that's what it takes, right? To have
right.
a state championship kind
That's
of
right.
team. So let's talk a little bit about Pete, who seems to have coached every SEC team, and Bebe had him on his staff.
Yes.
So he came in, and he's still relevant today. You would think the game would be changing the way it has changed. He's still on top of it.
81. All of these guys we talked about, they have come through him.
Right.
Either as players or graduate assistant. This guy, Austin Bear Clark, he was a GA with him in California. And now he's the head defensive.
How does he keep up with the game, the way it changes and evolves?
With all of his kind of, just to give you an example, he went to 7 SEC schools during spring training in a 9-week period. And they hire him to critique what they do and how they do it the whole time. Nick Saban calls him a secret weapon.
Right.
That's pretty good.
That's amazing. Like I say, I mean,
He's 81.
Again, so if you look back when he played, 60-some years ago,
He started off at Troy.
Right.
When it was a division.
Think of how the game has evolved over 60 years, and for him to be on the cutting edge of techniques today
all of the
is amazing.
technique with the pass rush.
Yeah.
When he went to Philadelphia Eagles, he took them from like under 10 sacks to into 20 sacks in 1 year.
This has to be such a great time of the year to see everybody, because coaching is such a fellowship, right?
Yes.
Where all you guys get together. What a great time to bring everybody together. It must feel like a reunion almost every year.
Well, it is. All the guys that be like Mike Stant played for me when I was at Nichols. He had missed in a number of years. He's the offensive line coach at St. Paul's in Covington. They're going to have 15 or 20 camp. Country down in New Orleans is going to have 15 or 20. Jesuit used to bring in the 40s. Holy Cross this year is going to have about 20. They got a new staff. Caligar, Baton Rouge is going to have 50 guys. Dutchtown is going to be in the 30s. Santa Maria.
Almost every one of those mentioned, though, are in playoff teams and powerhouse
Santa
teams.
Maria is going to have 30, 31. Thibodeau High had 2 freshmen last year. They got a new head coach. They got a new blood, a new energy. They having 22.
Oh, great.
They did a fundraiser, and they're going to do it. I got to mention Laurelville High School, AA school around New Iberia. Every year they come in the teens. The town, the Booster Club, does a fundraiser and send their kids. To me, that's what you call investing in our youth.
Right.
That's part of this small town that they see the importance of it. Terry Martin's the head coach. He encourages. He's there at every practice, watching his kids. Talking to them. I mean, it's a good time of the year.
Oh, it's an awesome time. And like I said, they got a lot of good players that are coming from this area. And I've covered sports all the time. I remember going to Cecilia. There would be like 4 coaches, right? So, you got old Coach Wagons back and maybe a couple other dudes that are out there. Great teams. But when you got 4 coaches and limited budget, you can't always coach like this. So this is a great opportunity for your kids to come together. There's some team bonding as you're on the road in Thibodaux for 3 nights, 4 days. And then you get the high-level coaching. So it's got to be a great way to build your program like that and get kids in shape a little bit in the middle of the summer.
But, the success E.D. White has had the last couple of years, they've had 21, 22 campers in the Superdome last year. So Kyle Kyle has done a heck of a job, him and Chris Bazeron, of encouraging the young men to come in, and we see what they're sowing something and they're reaping the benefits of it.
Oh, yeah.
So that last year in the AAA non-select game, Lutcher, of course, won it. They played against North DeSoto. That were 35 guys from both teams that was on the 30. That's, to me, that's saying something about the camp, that both of them, they've been coming for years. North DeSoto is a little bit south of Shreveport, and they come.
Oh, yeah. No, that's great. And when you think about that, the proliferation of 7-on-7, the passing game, it's the quarterback, wide receiver, and running backs. They seem like they have a little circuit and they go around. But for the linemen, there's just nothing like that you can get guys together where you can work like that. And it's got to be hard to get kids, hey, let's all show up and go over snap signals.
Well, I mean, we, like I told you, we get out the meeting at 10 o'clock at night. We feed the coaches, get some Cajuns to cook something good for the coaches. And the ball that's being taught between the Nichols coaches and this staff or this couple of guys, they're all in little huddles. They're looking at, it's a clinic for them.
Right.
Besides doing, coaching on the field.
Nichols, too, just to be able to have all these athletes on their campus, right, to get a good head look at them,
Tim Rebo walks from drill to drill. Lee Roussel, when he was the offensive line coach, he would walk from drill to drill. Tommy Ryback is the defensive coach, walking from drill to drill, spotting who's this kid with his feet. Mm-hmm. They get to recognize it, and then but our camp, what we got to understand is it has nothing to do with recruiting.
Right.
It's all about taking a young man might be a freshman that's 5'9", 170 pounds, teaching him where to put his hands, his eyes, his feet, attacking, using his leverage. And that's the mission of our camp, to make that young man better so he can go back to his high school and be more productive.
He can compete, right. These are not all Division I athletes, right? But these are kids that can contribute if they're doing the right thing to a good high school team.
Yes. Brendan Daly, though, when he's coaching them, he don't care if it's a 5-star or no star.
Right.
He works them the whole time.
No, that's awesome. And like I say, it's got to be so cool for you that have coached some of these kids as campers who come back as coaches down the road and now, are coaching their own teams and coming back.
Last year, one of the dads from South, a dad.
Oh, yeah, and the parents,
Parents came. He brought his T-shirt that he got when he came, and he had his son. So I got a picture of them two holding up that T-shirt.
They earned that T-shirt for sure. So again, June 17th is a Saturday. That's when it starts, and that's when you'll actually do the registration on that Saturday. And it'll run June 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th. You can go online, this website, at LouisianaLineCamp.com. You can register there. It's the easiest way to probably do it, right, Coach?
Yes.
But you can send a check. You can
mail it in, fill out the application, mail it in. You can put a $100 deposit when you come in that Saturday morning, have the rest of the scholarship, you pay it. And we didn't have this before. We have a card reader that we can swipe if you have a card.
So $450 and well worth it. And again, it'll warm your kid when they're playing. Coach Rod, thank you so much. Enjoy the
Thank you for the HTV for what y'all do for high school sports.
Yeah, you're right. All right, we'll be right back with more Bayou Time after this.